Hi, it's Steve from Part Select. Today we're going to show you how to change the temp sensor on your refrigerator. It's a really easy job. All you need is a 1/4-inch nut driver, a pair of strippers and crimpers, and some wire splice connectors. Let me show you how we do it. Now this model refrigerator has 3 temp sensors on it, and all of them are the same part number. So we'll begin by showing you the location of each of those. There is one in the fresh food compartment. It's located in the rear on the extension to the cantilever shelf bracket. You can access it by removing a single 1/4-inch hex head screw. You can slide that extension upwards, disengage it from the rail, pull it out, and you'll see the sensor hanging down on the top portion of that. There should be enough wire lead there to pull it out far enough to clip it off and to butt splice a new one on. Simply tuck it in behind that extension. Slide that into the back of the cantilever rail. Reinsert the screw. Now the next 2 sensors are located in the freezer compartment. So there's one that is located at the very bottom of the evaporator over on the left-hand side, and you can see it tucked into a little holder there. The other one is located at the top of the evaporator, right in this general area. Now to access those, you would have to remove the 2 1/4-inch hex head screws that hold the evaporator cover on, pull that cover out of the way, and then you have access to both of those sensors. Today we're going to show you the repair for the one on the top of the evaporator because it is the most common one to fail. Now before we begin this repair, we'll start by disconnecting the power. Simply pull the plug. We'll open up the freezer door and remove all of the shelves in the bottom bin. The shelves just snap in on the right-hand side to a plastic bracket, and then they'll pull out from the left-hand side. Next, we'll take the light cover off, just pull out on it and then push upwards. There's a lip on the front of that cover that hooks onto a couple of tabs on the evaporator fan motor bracket. We'll next take out the light bulb. We'll set that aside. Then we're going to remove the 2 1/4-inch hex head screws that hold the top of the evaporator cover to the fan housing. Just pull forward on it. You'll notice that there's a ground wire clip to the top edge, and just pry that off. And once you pull that out far enough, you can pull straight up on it. So you clear the bottom of the evaporator and tilt it out on the left side and pull it out of the way. Well, that will give us access to the temp sensor. It's mounted on the top of the evaporator. You can just barely see it from there. It clips into a little bracket. Now we'll begin by removing the sensor from the top portion of tubing on the evaporator. Just unclip it. We can remove the sensor from that clip. It should slide out. We'll retain the old clip as we will reuse it. Next, we're just going to cut that sensor 2-lead harness cut it far enough so that you have room to connect a new butt splice connector to it. Discard the old one. And we'll separate these two leads. Enough so that you can strip about 3/8 of an inch of the insulation off of that wire. And if you need a little extra length there to work with, you can actually disconnect that connector, remove the ground screw, and pull the wire out where you can get better access to it. Next, we'll twist this stranded wire so that it fits easier into the butt splice connector. And now we'll prepare the new sensor by stripping back the wires on it, and we'll actually connect the butt splice to the new sensor first, and then we'll pull the assembly in and connect it to the existing harness. Now, it is easier to prepare the new temp sensor outside of the refrigerator, as there isn't a lot of room to work inside of it. So we'll start by determining the length of lead that we need on the sensor, and then cut off the excess. So we'll just take a pair of wire snips and cut that off. You can discard the excess, and now we'll just separate these two leads. Just peel them apart. Enough that you can actually get a pair of crimpers inside of them. We'll next strip about 3/8 of an inch of that insulation off. And we'll just twist that stranded wire into a nice tight bundle. And we'll prepare one of the butt splice connectors. And we'll just make sure that that wire is fully inserted into the connector, and that none of the strands have popped loose, and give it a good tight crimp. Do the same for the second one. Now we simply need to connect these two butt splice connectors to the existing harness in the refrigerator. And once we're done all that, we should tape those connectors up just to prevent any moisture from getting in. Make sure we fully insert that wire into the connector. Crimp it tight. Same for the second conductor. So we'll insert that sensor into the mounting bracket. And it's probably a good idea to put a little bit of electrical tape around those butt splice connectors, as it is a moist environment here. So we'll just wrap a bit of the black electrical tape around it. And we tuck the excess wire down in behind that tubing. just to make sure that it doesn't come in contact with the evaporator fan motor. And we'll snap that new sensor on just about where the aluminum joint meets the copper. We'll take the evaporator cover, slide that in behind the rear shelf brackets. Rotate it into position. You have to tilt forward on the top a bit. And push it downwards. Once we get it down low enough, remember to reinstall the ground wire. Just clip that to the top edge. Make sure it fits firmly. Now we can pull that evaporator cover up. We line up the slots for the screw holes with those holes in the evaporator fan motor cover. We'll reinstall those 2/4 inch screws. We'll reinstall the light bulb. And the light cover. Next, we'll reinstall the shelving. And the bottom bin. We'll reconnect the power, and our repair is complete. Told you it was an easy job. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your repair.